Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tom Cat here, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the brand new trailer for Need for Speed Heat. Now, Need for Speed Heat obviously is bringing a very interesting vibe to the Need for Speed series, and there's a lot of little tidbits we can take from this trailer, and I've actually made sure to go through and find little bits and pieces and different interesting cars that you guys will definitely be curious to know about. We can see there's multiple different spots in the trailer where we can see some cars that only appear for like a split second, but that still confirms them. And also, the Volvo that we see throughout a lot of the trailer could very well be a standout feature in the game. So that is actually very, very interesting as well. This trailer touches on customization. We see massive chassis mount wings. We see like all sorts of different stuff. We see very aggressive looking cops. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, that leads to a maybe even most wanted 05 related cop system. So if we could get something like that, that would be absolutely insane. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the trailer and see what all is going on. Now, frankly, this particular section of the trailer might seem a little bit unassuming, but the reason why I wanted to start here is because if you watch this section of the trailer, you'll realize that this Porsche slowly lowers down as it airs out, which confirms air suspension to be in the game, which is right off the bat, I think it's really cool that they're taking a focus like that on customization and a focus like that on personalizing your car, and Air Ride definitely lends itself well to that. Now, also, throughout this screenshot, if we look around a little bit more, intently, we can see there's definitely a Viper there in the back, or what I think is an R34 behind the Porsche, and then to the right of the Porsche, I'm pretty sure we're looking at some kind of BMW, but I'm not 100% sure, so we'll have to go through the trailer a little bit more to find that out. Another section that I really wanted to check out is look around this shot. There's a lot going on here, and this really takes me back to the ProStreet days. Like, this genuinely gives me massive ProStreet vibes. Now, we can see the Evo 10, but we can also see, like, people hanging out around the start line, people, chilling, like this dude taking a picture on his phone, So, in this shot, again, we see the Evo 10, we see that Viper confirmed again, we see a Lamborghini Countach, and behind the Countach, we see a 350Z. So, add all of those to the confirmed car list, because these things are, I know for a fact that people are going to be excited about the 350Z being back, and also, I get that there's a lot of people that don't really care for the 350Z, but there's also a lot of people that are like die hard for the 350Z. Like, they love the freaking thing. So, if you are a 350Z fan, you could rest assured that it is still in the game. Here again, we move to another race start line shot, and again, you could see the people kind of milling around at the start line of the race, which again is very interesting to me, because does that mean like start line characters? Does that mean someone's actually going to come out and like drop like a flag or basically be like a race starter? Is that going to happen? I don't know, but it could be really cool if it does. We also see the Countach again. We see a wide-body Mustang GT, a very wide Porsche 911, the Evo 10, and then what looks like a Mercedes AMG Coupe up front. So, again, really cool lineup of cars, but also even cooler tropical landscape. So that also, I think, leads to a very almost retro wavy dynamic, but we'll talk about that more a little bit later. Now, to quickly jump in on another section of the trailer, this is one of the next frames. We can obviously see the Viper here, and we see the crown sticker on it, which is really, really cool, but we also see the FD next to it, and this is one of the first times that we get a little glimpse at the FD, and seeing that in the game as well is really cool and refreshing to know that it's back, and they really do a good job of bringing this kind of back and forth, like, American and import and muscle and tuner vibe, like back and forth throughout the trailer. It's really, really cool. Jumping back into confirmed cars, we see a brief look here at a Porsche 993 911, or at least what looks like the back end of a 993. We don't really see this car again in the trailer, so I was able to capture a little tiny bit of it here, but really cool to see that. Jumping into our next confirmed car now, the legendary Lamborghini Diablo. Now, this actually looks like it could be a Diablo GTR, so that's definitely one to watch out for. Now, this is one of my favorite stills from the whole trailer because it's a little security cam shot, but you can see over there on the left, we have a Buick Grand National, and the fact that we have that is going to make a lot of people happy. Now, remember when I said that 993 didn't show back up? I lied. It's over there right on the left next to the GTR, but we see a nice little lineup right here. We've got the GTR in the middle, FD on the right, 993 on the left. Now, jumping ahead into customization features, remember when I was talking about big wings earlier? This is the kind of stuff I was talking about. Big, huge chassis mount wings. And honestly, number one, I think these look really, really cool. But, I mean, I don't know how I feel about the center cutout piece. I mean, I'm hoping that there are wings that are mounted this way that don't have the center cutout that we'll still be able to use. But we see these on the Volvo Polestar, and they actually look really, really good. And I'm actually curious as to how deeply this car's role in the game goes, because they do focus on it a lot in the trailer. They do showcase the customization with it a little bit, and I definitely think that it shows a possibility of that car having a really big role in the game. I did also want to take a second to get a close-up of one of the cops because he is angry, and that is one of the biggest things that I keep noticing throughout the whole trailer is these cops look angry. They look mad, and they look like they are ready to just like take down everything in their absolute path. I mean, if there was one point that they seem to want to drive home very, very hard in this trailer, it's that the cops seem very aggressive. Moving on out to another group shot, we see the Diablo, the 993, and the GTR lining up again. But again, we see a big, big crowd in the background. And that's why I wanted to showcase this particular shot, because big crowds like that, again, really kind of go back to a time in Need for Speed when there was always there was people around, right? So there was people around at the races, there was people around during the events, and it felt very alive. And I'm getting a lot of that vibe here, so I'm really hoping that vibe comes through in the full game, because if it does, we could be actually witnessing sort of a, almost like a coming back sort of aspect to not necessarily coming back to an older era of Need for Speed, but bringing more aspects of an older era into a new era. To touch on this shot for a brief moment, the GTR is not really the important part of this shot, but if you look ahead, you can actually see the back end of a BMW M2. Now, I can't tell if that's an M2 or a normal M2 or an M2 competition. I was thinking it might have been an M2 competition, but I'm going to hold that as a maybe for now. This shot I also wanted to jump into and zoom in on because it confirms the E46 M3 and the E92 M3. And those two cars, I mean, they're some of the most iconic generations of the M3. And later on, there's actually a shot that also confirms the E30 M3. So we seem to have a really good lineup of BMW M cars. Now all we need is the E36. But with the E46 M3's involvement in the game, that makes me very hopeful for a GTR kit on the E46 M3. So if we can make that happen, oh my God, that would be crazy. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a true Need for Speed game without mountain roads. And this particular shot does a really good job of showcasing the fact that, yes, even though a lot of this trailer takes place in a big city, we do still have mountain roads. We still do have those winding, twisting, toge-style roads that we've come to know and love in Need for Speed's past. Now, this confirms the Infiniti Q60, which I wasn't really expecting to be in the game. It's never really been a car that I have had a big interest in, but I'm very glad that it's here, and I think people that are actually very interested in these cars might be really excited about it. But I did want to touch on it because it is another confirmed car. Now, there are some good ones in this shot. Now, of course, the Viper is the one that we see the majority of the focus on, but we also have a RSX and an E30 M3. Now, the RSX and the E30 M3, I think, are both more than welcome to be here. I mean, they really do fit the vibe, and they do fit the kind of style, I think, that this game really goes for. Now, there is another car up there on the right ahead of the E30 M3, but even with trying to zoom in on it and do a bunch of stuff, I couldn't really figure out what it was, so that remains unknown for now. Now, towards the end of the trailer, they also kind of briefly sort of panned by this particular angle where there's a truck jumping off of a ramp on the corner over there. And it looks kind of like a Raptor, but I'm not gonna really jump on that judgment just yet. It's either a Raptor or a Colorado ZR2, but most likely a Raptor. The more I look at it, it screams Raptor. But it could mean that there is a truck dynamic still. I'm not sure, but that is definitely like that's definitely a part of the game that I wanted to know if it was actually like coming back, because I know that they've kind of tried to like touch on off-road stuff in the past, and some people liked it, some people didn't, but it's interesting that they kind of teased a truck here. And what we can see here looks to be the return of Ferrari. So it's a really blurry shot, obviously, because the camera kind of pans through here very, very quickly. But the fact that we have Ferrari again is a massive deal, absolutely massive deal. And I am more than excited and more than thrilled to mess around with Ferraris again in a Need for Speed game. I think it's so cool that they're back. And just to kind of see one there teased at the end, really, really nice touch. But as we wrap up the trailer, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you guys for watching. Let me know what you are most excited about in regards to Need for Speed Heat in the comment section down below. And make sure you subscribe, because there will be tons more coverage all related to Need for Speed Heat coming very, very soon. So again, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Hope you all have an awesome day.